Yes, we had one of our largest, it wasn't our largest hive that was removed, but it was a hive that had more bees than any other hive that we've had as of late. And it looked like the bees were fixing to swarm. But it was rather impressive as to how many bees were there. They were located across the street from a residence here in the south part of town. And so the resident had been stung numerous times when he'd go out, and there was a new pond in his house, and so they were using that as their new watering hole. And so we had to mitigate that, and our emergency services staff is trained to mitigate the bee problems here. And so it took us, and we were utilizing some professionals as well, and it took about 3 nights before we could get it all taken care of.
And you mentioned these bees swarm each month.
Yes, what's different between the Africanized bees and the European bees is an Africanized bee will take another queen and swarm monthly, where a European bee does it 3 or 4 times a year. So obviously there's a lot more activity from the Africanized bees, a lot more bees, and it just makes it to be a more volatile situation when you're dealing with them.
About how many calls do you get each week?
Our Kevin Kleinworth, who's our logistics abatement officer, who handles our bees and mosquito issues, he's our lead person on that, gets probably 4 to 5 calls a week to handle a bee problem. We found out in dealing with all the different agencies with the bees that all of the bees now are categorized as Africanized within Nye County. That's not to alarm anyone. Bees are very necessary for us to exist, but they are more aggressive, and you just need to be on the lookout. Bees will be out foraging during the day, doing their bee thing, and then at night they go back to their hive. And if you notice a hive on your property or a hive near a bus stop or something where public safety would be an issue, that's when you'd want to give us a call and we can come out and check it out.
Where do these bees make their hives? Where do they prefer?
Well, a lot of times we find them in trees. This was in an abandoned mobile home. Some of the bigger hives have been found in sheds where there's an opening where they can get in that opening, and in a crawl space or in an attic they can make a hive where it's not disturbed and not readily seen by the owners. And so just anywhere they can get in, and the electrical boxes, the water boxes in your yards, just anywhere where they can get in and have a nice secure place to make it.
I see. As you say, when you go out to mitigate the bees, it's a nighttime process. You shouldn't go in the daytime.
Oh no, definitely not. Bees are active and they can see great during the day. At nighttime they can't see well, and so your chances of getting stung are much less. Obviously we do have people get stung at night as well, but we do don the proper protective equipment, which are the bee suits that we have purchased, and then we have our soap spray guns. We spray Dawn dishwashing detergent on them, and that is what takes care of the bees.
I see. And if someone should encounter these Africanized honeybees on their property, obviously you just want to leave them alone.
You definitely don't want to aggravate them. An Africanized bee will give you pretty much a warning. They don't. What we have found, not every time, surely sometimes bees will just sting you, but in many cases an Africanized bee will come up and just bump you and just let you know, hey, they're fine. But a lot of times if you keep proceeding into the area where they are and start swatting them and aggravating them, and then you have a problem, and that's when they will swarm you.
I see. I recall over a year ago, or maybe 2 years, on the south end of town, a swarm of bees actually attacked an animal and killed it.
On this property there was many horses, there was dogs. The owner came out and was attacked, and when we got on the property we were attacked. Obviously we donned our protective equipment, and we had a professional come out as well, but one horse died as a result of that attack, and the gentleman that went out to protect his horse survived, and then I think the dog that got stung severely survived. But they can swarm and attack these animals as well if they're in the mood.
Now, of course, folks can call, as you mentioned, a professional exterminator, but sometimes they can't really afford that, which is why they call Nye County Emergency Services.
Right. We recommend if you have any bee issues, you call us, 775-751-4279. You can call that number, and then we can either come out, we'll take a look, we can give you the information pertaining to the professionals that can come and help you. If for some reason it's on lands that don't have an owner here in town, we can come out and mitigate those issues. Or if people have financial hardship, obviously, we'll not leave a public safety issue unhandled, and we'll come out and work with them.